So Khamzat Chimaev has just called out Alex Pereira, and I'm going to give my opinions on it. Now on paper, this fight seems like a great idea, but I'm going to give my opinion on why I think it's probably not the best idea. So let's talk about both of their recent performances. Pereira beat Ankalaev in 80 seconds via a devastating TKO finish. If you haven't seen it, then you need to go and see it. If you haven't seen it, have you been living under a rock? So yeah, it was a devastating finish in Pereira's last fight, and Chimaev's last fight was against Plessis, and he won via unanimous decision. So I'm going to talk about why, in my opinion, the fight doesn't make sense between Pereira and Chimaev. So both have only just claimed their belts in their weight divisions. Pereira is the light heavyweight champion, and Khamzat Chimaev is the middleweight champion. And if they were to fight, Chimaev would have to move up, as Pereira wouldn't want to move down to middleweight again, which I think's fair enough. I think Alex Pereira, when he fought at middleweight, at the weigh-ins, he looked anorexic. I mean, it must have been such a struggle for a guy that size, 6'5", to get down to 180 pounds. He looked so scrawn getting down to that middleweight division, and arguably, in my opinion, could be one of the main reasons why he got knocked out by Adesanya in their rematch, because he had been doing a weight cut. It's obviously a very, very strenuous weight cut, getting him down to that weight. And as we all know, if you cut weight, you lose a bit of your chin as well. And that is, in my opinion, one of the big reasons why Pereira got knocked out. Apart from the fact that obviously Adesanya threw the perfect shot at the right time. I'm not taking anything away from Adesanya there. And both Pereira and Chimaev still have work to do in their divisions. Pereira still hasn't fought Carlos Ulberg or Dominic Reyes, although Dominic Reyes is unlikely to happen, seeing as he just got knocked out in his last performance. Let's not forget, Pereira has shown a huge interest recently in going up to heavyweight to fight John Jones at the White House. So moving down to middleweight to fight Khamzat Chimaev is completely the opposite of what he's wanting to do here. So Alex Pereira has stated multiple times that he wants to fight John Jones at the White House, although Dana White has come out multiple times and basically said there's no bloody chance I'm having John Jones fight at the White House because he's untrustworthy, and he is untrustworthy. So good call from Dana. At least he's seeing sense now. And like I said before, it'd be so difficult for Pereira to go back down to middleweight again. You know, it must have taken so much out of him to get down to that weight. So to do it again, just to fight Khamzat Chimaev, is idiotic, in my opinion. So let's talk about Khamzat Chimaev's last performance and how it has divided UFC fans. Some say it was a total domination, but others called it a boring fight where Chimaev basically held Plessis on the ground for the entire fight, showing no eagerness to finish the fight or even hurt his opponent. If you're an MMA fan, it depends obviously on what you're interested in. If you want to see really exciting, striking matches and dominant grappling and that sort of thing, then Khamzat's last performance would not have been for you. It was, in my opinion, a little bit of a boring fight. The whole point of MMA, in my opinion, is to try and finish your opponent. That is the whole point of MMA. It's not the point of MMA to just get a boring unanimous decision. And it's a bit different if both fighters are fighting with their hearts on the line, just throwing punches, just trying to get the finish, but they didn't manage to do it. That's different. What Khamzat Chimaev did is he obviously exposed Plessis' lack of ground game, but he didn't do much with it. It wasn't a very exciting fight. Some people say it was, but in my opinion, it wasn't. I don't think just holding your opponent on the ground and just keeping him there and throwing really light shots that aren't really doing anything, you can't really call that a complete domination. And it definitely wasn't an exciting fight, that's for sure. And I like Khamzat Chimaev. You know, I loved his style. I mean, he still has that style. Maybe just been it was a bad performance or something, but he's known for grabbing a hold of people, shooting for the leg and just throwing them around like a ragdoll. And in last performance that he did against Plessis, I really don't think that was the best Khamzat Chimaev we could have seen that night, that's for sure. Like take for example when he fought Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman is an amazing fighter, one of the best welterweights of all time, if not one of literally the best of all time. He's on par with George St. Pierre in my opinion. The absolute dominant run that Usman had, 13, 14 title defenses I think off the top of my head, and Chimaev fought Usman and it was an absolute war. Granted, it was only 3 rounds, but it went to a decision. For the first few rounds, Khamzat threw Usman around like a ragdoll. It was ridiculous to watch. Compare that to his fight with Plessis. It was night and day. Khamzat didn't seem like he was willing to take a risk of trying to finish Plessis off, because Plessis is a very predictable fighter. He's very unorthodox, which for Khamzat Chimaev could have been a huge problem. But he just held him there and didn't really do much with it, which left a bit of a sour taste in UFC fans' mouths and mine. And look, maybe Khamzat Chimaev had an injury going into that fight. Maybe he had some cobwebs to dust off. But if you're going to call out Alex Pereira, one of the biggest, if not the biggest superstar in the UFC right now, you're going to have to do a better job with your performances, in my opinion. And I understand why Chimaev is calling out Pereira. From his perspective, he sees Alex Pereira has limited grappling experience. He doesn't get taken down a lot, but when he does, he doesn't really seem like he knows what he's doing as much as Khamzat anyway. So I can understand how Chimaev, in his mind, this is a great fight to make. But think about it, Chimaev's dominant wrestling style, throwing people around like ragdolls, and Alex Pereira, who's a very, very, very dominant striker, one of the hardest punchers in the UFC, that's for sure. It would make for a great fight. Wrestler versus striker is always a great matchup. And this would be an exciting fight, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it would be an exciting fight. I just don't think that it's the right move to make, especially for Pereira. There is obviously clear distaste between one another. Alex Pereira called him a dog's arsehole. Chimaev claiming him that the UFC is protecting Pereira from him. So clearly there is bad blood here between them, and it would make for an exciting build-up. If the fight was to happen, how would I see it going? So I imagine from the get-go, Chimaev would shoot for Pereira, try and take him down, try and ragdoll him. Whether or not he could is a different question. I believe that Alex Pereira, despite not being as good as Chimaev on the ground, I do believe that Alex Pereira has one of the best takedown defenses in the UFC. When he was ill, he fought Magomed Ankalaev, and he stuffed all of his takedowns, even when he was sick. And then when they rematched, stuffed the takedown and finished him off. He's got an amazing takedown defense. Would that work against Chimaev though? That's the question. And in my opinion, I do believe that if this fight was to go down, I believe that Alex Pereira would end up knocking out Chimaev. Because we've seen, Chimaev can scrap. He could definitely throw hands, but can he throw hands with a striker that's got ungodly power? Can he do it? I don't think so. I mean, you've got to look back to Khamzat Chimaev's performance against Gilbert Burns. It was at welterweight. So I'm pretty sure from what I remember, Gilbert Burns actually knocked down Khamzat Chimaev. Now, that could be again due to him cutting weight. He could have had less of a chin. But if Alex Pereira lands a left hook, or he lands an overhand right, or he lands any punch that's hard enough on Khamzat Chimaev, there is no way he's not going to get knocked out. No chance. He would get fucking flatlined. So yeah, if Burns can drop Chimaev, Alex Pereira can shut his fucking lights out. So in my opinion, I don't really understand really why you would make this fight if I was Dana White. Alex Pereira, he says obviously he wants to fight John Jones at the White House. I've already made a few comments on that in my last videos. I don't think that John Jones deserves it. He's fucked the UFC round and he doesn't deserve that super fight anymore. And he's spoken a lot about going to heavyweight, and that should be against Tom Aspinall, because if you're going to move up to heavyweight, then why not try and take the belt? Then that would make him a 3-division champion throughout his career, which is something that no one has ever done. And if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Alex Pereira, right? Absolutely, it's going to be Alex Pereira. So what do you guys think about this potential fight? Do you want to see it happen? Do you not want to see it happen? In my opinion, I don't really see the point in having it happen. Alex Pereira wants to go up to heavyweight. Khamzat Chimaev's last performance was a bit boring. We're going to need to see a little bit more than that. Yeah, granted, his old fights were great, but he needs to keep that going, especially if he wants a super fight. What do you guys think about this potential fight matchup? Do you think it should happen? Do you think it should not? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, subscribe and turn the bell notifications on so you get notified every single time I post a new video. And I will see you guys in the next one.